I did not choose my career. Basically, the career has chosen me, and I'm happy with it now.
There is a pre-assumptions like she can't do this thing or that thing. I face those kind of things. I think on during some of my projects, I found some of my leads are also rude.
So, like studies have confirmed, like the women should work an extra 3 to 4 months, like to reach the same pay level as their male counterparts over 12 months. Okay, the person who is working for 1 year, and we have to work for at least 1 year, 3 to 4 months.
There was a colleague who just joined after the pregnancy, and she actually left the job by saying that she might join after some time. And once her child grew, then she joined. And that time the organization offered her, like, she was in technical domain, she was a developer before, but that time by default, like the HR, maybe the whatever the team was there, they offered her a scrum lead position. So it as you can say, it also unconscious bias.
That person used to stare at her in such a way every day, so she got to know when and which day she is wearing nail paint or not. So that was the point, okay? And that situation went to Posh, and there were many other trials happened. So these such things, so sensitive things that you have you would have said, why she did all this, why she created a ruckus out of this.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Geeky Pod with Manas. Once in a while, when you start having a conversation with someone, and at the beginning of the conversation, you get to know that this conversation is going to be a meaningful conversation and you are going to enjoy this conversation. So, this is one such episode where I had a nice conversation and a meaningful conversation with two of my friends, Devasmita and Pooja. And in this conversation, we have talked about various topics related to aspects of women in IT, career of women in IT. We have talked about how to shift career from one domain to another, how to switch career when you are not into a particular domain. So in this case, they were not from IT domain, but they have shifted their career in the IT domain. And how was the experience? What was the ordeal behind it? We also talked about maternity leave. We have talked about menstrual cycle leaves and should it be provided or not, all these things. We also talked about POSH, prevention of sexual harassment in the organization, not only in IT, in any organization in the country. And we have also talked about how different aspects of gender pay parity aspect and all this and many more things, along with anecdotes, statistics, data, and many more things. I'm damn sure that you're going to like this podcast, and it's going to be a meaningful one, and it's going to add some value to your life. So please watch it and like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you like the content that I create. If you like this episode, share it with your friends on WhatsApp, on your WhatsApp statuses, or by any means you can share it. Thank you. Enjoy the podcast. So, first of all, tell me about yourself. I mean, not in a way that we normally give in interviews, like I have done this 12th here. And something about yourself, which is not as part of the resume, for our audience to know about you. We'll start with Devasmita.
Okay, so hi Pooja, hi Manas. Thanks for inviting me to this podcast. And about me, I think both of you have seen me in college, so not much from that front. But what I would like to say about me is I would like to start with my hobbies then directly instead of telling about my educational background and everything. So I like to paint, and recently I have started learning this from my father-in-law as well, because it is a long lost hobby that was there, and now I've started again learning from him. And apart from that, I love to read books, and be it your self-help books or your fictional books. And apart from that, about me, I'm an engineer, and currently I'm working with one of the organizations as senior QA engineer. And other than that, what else? I love to watch movies. I love to play outdoor games as well, but not much now because of the age, maybe, or whatsoever reason. But yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Right. So, over to you, Pooja.
So yeah, so not much telling about our background from where we studied. So I'm a normal human being like you. So I love to travel, as you know. Apart from that, I started like my hobbies are kind of like nowadays reading book. Initially, it was not reading book; it was just watching movies and those things. But now I started also learning more about our gut health and about health, because currently, from because of our age again, so from last year, I am facing so much health issues because of this age increase. You can say like cholesterol or other things. So that's why I started about health things, gut things, and then food habits. I love to make some lovely dishes, and also I love to spend time with friends and family. So that's part of my hobby. And as profession, I started like as a software engineer. I came from civil background, and that was not by choice, but I need to go into that. And after that, gradually getting the interest, and now I am a senior DevOps engineer, you can say, as acting as an engineering manager in a IT company. So that's pretty much about myself.
Great. So great to know about both of you. I know both of you from colleges, from first year level itself. So now coming to the career aspects, right? So both of you were from civil engineering background, and then you transitioned to the software domain. So how much this transition, had a lot of problems, difficulties on the way, or was it smooth for you? And because in engineering you never had any touch with softwares, coding, and at least I believe when you transition to software domain you had to learn a lot of things and then you continued. So how this progression have been so far? Was it easy, difficult, or if you compare it with the male counterparts, then how easy or difficult it was for the males than the women? Yeah, there was Smita.
Okay, so this is interesting thing. So coming from an non-IT background, so first of all, I would say the toughest part was to convince myself that I would choose this as my career. So my parents asked me to join and said like, if you don't feel comfortable, then you may leave. So this is my personal experience. So once I got into IT, I was underconfident. I had skill gaps and lack of representation. So, when I say lack of representation, like I've seen people from various backgrounds or like engineering branches, but hardly someone who is a woman, a civil engineer, academically and getting into IT and pursuing this as a serious business, I would say. I had full of self-doubts. I thought of leaving the career as soon as possible and try out something else. So, but fortunately, I had a supportive team in my initial days, irrespective of the gender, I would say. So, I have got seniors, both male and female, coming out to help anytime. So, even the freshers who were of my same age supported me a lot. And from there, I understood how crucial it is to ask for help and get the same in return. So I got to learn and work on myself, and I would say I knew that I had to put on additional effort as compared to others, and I was fine with it. So, yes, obviously there were days like where I felt very low, and I mean that was fine. So, and you become stronger emotionally in this process, and so far the journey was exciting. And if you say the gender role in that, I think I haven't felt gender bias in my workplace, but I have felt some societal bias towards it. Some people around me that felt that it was a temporary one, and I would come back to my hometown, get married maybe, or try other jobs, but I would not stick to IT jobs. And there were this preconceived notion everywhere, be it workplace or society, women are not tech savvy, right? So although you are from STEM background whatsoever, and this is so funny and yet true, and you find your men counterparts are more competent just because they are confident and vocal about their achievements. So the day you become confident, things changes completely. That's what I have realized going through this journey. And like I will say a simple example, like from where it starts basically. So you buy a new smartphone, okay, and you give it to your dad to teach your mom how to operate it. Like we assume that she can't use it, and the reason she can't use it now is that when you got your first TV in your home, you remember in your 80s or 90s, like no one encouraged her to get the first hand experience of it. So these are the little things that we tend to ignore, and which is responsible for building the confidence in anyone, any person, be it male or female. So I had this in my mind that since I have come here, I'll stick to it. I'll stick to my career no matter what. And so I did not choose my career. Basically, the career has chosen me, and I'm happy with it now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I like the last line. Yeah, that career has chosen you.
yes,
Yeah. Now,
yeah.
and
I
coming
say
to one
this to
more,
everyone
yeah.
actually.
Right, it's actually great line. So I'll tell you one example. You mentioned during your answer that at
Yeah.
one point people thought that you'll be coming down back to your home city
Hmm.
and start something else. This happens for us also, the software engineers also, because we have been studying software engineering in our engineering also. People thought, and people asked my parents, why your son is there in Chennai? Ask him to come here, open a computer shop,
Um,
and settle here. So this happens with everyone. Actually, this is because of lack of knowledge about the career that we are into.
industry. Yes, yes,
Yes.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, Pooja, coming to you. So, the same question. Plus, I just want to add on that, like, based on the career that you have chosen, did you see any biasness? That means when you joined, and along with you, a lot of other friends, maybe colleagues also joined from different colleges. So, did you find that it was easy for you, but than the others, or the vice versa?
No, it was not at all easy for me. When I joined the IT industry, right, I saw bias in my initial industry, not now in my current companies. Okay, so I can give some examples, and that is not fault of like what I can say. That is not their fault. So it's you. You can say it's unconscious bias. Like for an example, if someone will ask you to assume in your childhood and just to assume that you just go out from your home and you just enter into a park, some persons are laughing, like those older persons are exercising, right? So every time in our mind it is kind of like only the senior citizens persons are doing the exercise. It's not like the young people are doing the exercise. So similar way there is a pre-assumptions, like she can't do this thing or that thing. I face those kind of things. I think on you can say back on year 2017-16, during some of my projects, I found some of my leads are also rude. They are also like biased toward those people who came from their location, not from other location. And it also not towards me, it also from other girls also, towards towards them also he did those kind of things. But what action I took at the same time, if I not felt comfortable at the place, I just fought at that time. The thing is that because of that, they gave me zero hike also. That is, I think, past 2019. I went to HR that I can't do this thing. I need to switch, or maybe I need some another projects. So these things happen. I can't say totally it's not like that. Nowadays, it's kind of like so much gender diversity. We need 40% women or 50% women or something like that. But from past 2 3 companies I didn't feel that. So maybe also it depends upon different projects or the person or human being you are working with. So that is the thing. So I face that. And now and sometimes people are also very helpful. Like for an example, if you say like I came from civil background, so again the line she mentioned that I didn't choose the career chosen me. I love that line what she told. um, so the thing is that my parents, like especially my mother, worked into PWD, Public Work Department in Tripura. So she always wanted that I took, she always wanted that I went into streams like civil, electrical, or mechanical, and after that I went into like TCS or some kind of government job. So that's why my father actually enrolled me into civil. So that was the reason initially. And that time I didn't have the background what civil, mechanical, computer science, and all those streams actually meant to, right? And after that, the thing was that that time not much opportunity in my city. Like we can try different sort of thing, not much internet things, or maybe to show your creativity. So it's kind of like you can say also some sort of laziness in myself. I just waited for the offer letter just to join my first job, and let's see what will happen. So initially when I joined that time, it was very tough for me because coding, nowadays it's like coding, if you don't need, you also need the basic scripting in every domain. Even the managers also need to do the work as an individual contributor. So you need to know the cutting edge technologies, how the technical stuff is working. So in that area I faced lots of issues, and initially I was like, my personal feeling was like, why I learned coding? I don't have interest much on that. But then the thing is that I also getting money, right? Though it was little money, but that was my first earned money. So for that I started learning, and then I found interest. And then I switched to different technology to understand how data science is working, how cloud is working, and those things. And then the journey has started. So it's kind of challenging for me, but now whoever came to me for little help, I just suggest them mentorship is very important. If you find any sort of difficulty, just talk to your seniors, and sometime also we learn from our juniors. Nowadays whoever the juniors also come, right, they also have much knowledge, right? So we can learn from each other. And for that biasness, I can tell one more example. I remember in my entire career, I have almost 8-year careers in IT, right? So every manager's it's kind of like managerial behavior. They just get like supposed to be managerial behavior. But I was in Gurgaon for one company for around 1.5 years. Okay, so there I met one manager who is the manager, like who is not directly engaging with me in the same project, but he is going to mentor me for that period. Okay, and he was mentoring me only for 3 to 4 months, and I can say till this period he was the best mentor. He just told, whatever you switch or wherever you go, that doesn't matter, you just need to know one experience in t-shaped length. If you have one knowledge, that is sufficient in your domain. And he didn't show any kind of biasness. And after 3 months he also left the organization, but he was so great towards any freshers, any women, or any new candidates. So I can feel like it's depend upon person to person. But yeah, that was the challenges I faced, and that was my experience.
Right. So as you rightly mentioned, no, the importance of your mentor or your manager who you get early in the career matters a lot. How your career progresses based on that. So that's very
Yeah.
true. So I see it nowadays also in many in my company as well as in other companies as well, and my friends are also there. So they say like whoever has got bad managers so far at initial level of their career, now they are sitting somewhere below in the career progression, or they
Yeah.
had to switch
Yeah.
multiple times.
And one example, just one line. I remember in back on 2019, someone just told me like there was some sort of partial script I need to do for some sort of automation. But the thing is that I didn't get what exactly I need to do. Okay, so that person who is going to mentor me is supposed to be my tech lead. So the thing is that he need to tell me, right? If you are not aware of this fact, you can just go through this sort of training or something like that. Instead of that, he just mentioned me, I can understand you came from a non-technical background, so that is okay. Then he just passed that entire task to another guy. And that happened with me. And just after 3 to 4 days, because I was going through another interviews, and I just selected for another company, and I just told him, I just put down paper, and he was like, okay, then अच्छा खासा salary तो मिल ही गया होगा. And then I told him that this much salary they offered. They told, okay, तो फिर तुम्हें काम आता था? but you didn't do that way. So that was the thing I faced, and he was the tech lead in that company for I think 5 to 6 years. So the behavior, every individual need to change. And yeah, if they met with different kind of pupil, or a different kind of pupil, or different sort of project, so that need to change. So that I can say, and it also depends upon the company or the projects.
Right, right. No, now coming to one more aspects, right? You mentioned like so. I think all of us are either more than 8 years of experience so far, currently sitting here. So now in the total career that we had so far, in that, did you see any gender pay gap because you are a woman? So you had different points, rating points, and then increment happened differently, and but the male counterparts had 100% or maybe 140 50% hike because of their gender. And normally it's assumed that girls will not work post at certain age or something like that, but it's a assumption. So how much that affected in your career so far, Devasmita?
Okay, as far as I know, I have I'll give you some statistics first, maybe. Then
Sure.
I'll talk about myself. Okay. So, studies have confirmed the women should work an extra 3 to 4 months, like to reach the same pay level as their male counterparts over 12 months. Okay, the person who is working for 1 year and we have to work for at least 1 year, 3 to 4 months. And so till 2021, I think, yeah. So women only occupy about the 20% of the senior level positions in tech industry. So that is very interesting. And so underrepresentation at the top is a significant factor. Like we, the middle management, you say, or the resources who are working. So their also their pay scale also depends on who is in the top level hierarchy in the organization, because someone should be there to fill the women genders issues or the pay gap realization about the pay gap. So as you grow in your career, like the societal expectations on women also becomes an obstacle. So you can't see those top managers in the senior level positions in the tech considering the women. So what happens, we don't, our needs are get not gets that we don't, I mean, underseen or whatsoever you can say. So what I felt the gender pay gap when I have joined my third company, I would say. At that time I felt when I was around not third, 3 or 4 years of experience, when I compared with my male counterparts, I was earning quite less than them. So that and then when I went to the organization, I felt like all the top level managers are male. So I never realized that that could be one of the reasons, maybe, that the top level, no one is there from the who is representing women. So maybe that is one of the reasons that the organizations fail to give that parity to the women candidates as well. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
once I felt, but other than that, I felt that I was getting, I mean, I was getting what I deserved based on the
Okay.
skill set or based on the technology that I am into, and yeah.
Yeah. So one interesting fact I just want to put out is that currently my manager, who is the manager, she's a lady and she's
Hmm.
also not from
Okay.
IT background, and she's
Hmm.
doing excellent. She's like extraordinary in her work that she does.
Hmm.
So keeping that into reference, so if we have more middle managers or senior managers in women in that position,
Hmm.
we'll have more women representation in the team as well, in the organization as well,
Yeah,
based on that.
yeah, women attracts women. It's clear.
Right. Okay. So now, Pooja, same question. Like, did you face any career progression barrier because of your gender in your career so far?
So, as I mentioned, I might faced in my initial days of my career. So I think that also more before like 2017 or 18 when I started my career, and there I felt the gap. The thing is that you can't quarrel with them, you can't fight whatever you deserve for other things. But nowadays there are lots of policy change. The thing is that you can check, there are lots of websites like Fishbowl, Ambition Box, Glassdoor. You can compare those things, and according to that you can negotiate for the salary bar you wanted with the HR. So the thing is that for that thing, you need to be confident. The first thing, sometimes what happened, I saw so many of my colleagues, okay, so many of my colleagues, I saw that I just talk with them that okay, you have 10 to 15 year of experience, then you should ask for this much, or maybe for the hike also you can ask for this much, you have worked so much thing. But they are like, if they reject this thing, or if they will not give me offer, then what I will do. So there also a thing like that, they have low confidence. The first thing that you need to build your confidence, and also politely you can ask, like you can ask like that, should we have a room to discuss the salary bar? If the HR will tell that no, there is no room, or there is that is our maximum budget, then it's fine. Otherwise you can just discuss with your senior or colleagues. But it is also a thing that we can't directly ask anyone that what is your salary, right? So that is the thing. But nowadays there are lots of anonymous websites where you can compare, we can ask your query, and you get to know what is the bar. But because of this policy change, most of the companies now I think taking this parity in a serious manner. But initially I faced in my initial career, because my first project, there was almost 30 to 35 member. That was a large project, and I had the skill set of different technology. They just put me into different technology because I was a fresh at that time, okay, because they just want ki I do all of, like I need to do all of those tasks, like you can say those kachra tasks or whatever, but you can learn everywhere, right? I was there for almost 1.8 year. I was working in shift, night shift, afternoon shift, and morning shift. That also, shifts also never be a issue for me, okay, because I just need to work and learn. And that time, after a certain period, I just asked them, I have this kind of knowledge. I wanted to shift into different project, and that is my skill set. But what they did, and they have another guy who just came just before 4 to 5 months back. They just shifted him into another project, and they didn't shift me, who have already 1.8 year or 2 year of experience. And instead of that, they also, that time also in IT industries, I think cost cutting was going on. But still they cut almost the salary of 15 employees, they cut down. But they did that also, okay, I asked them, okay, you didn't give me hike, that also okay, 0% hike is unacceptable, but still I want the reason. The person who is my manager, he was not able to give the reason. So that, and after the next day I switched. So that was the scenario for me. But nowadays, from my past 3 to 4 projects, I didn't saw those kind of parities. I think from after 2019, maybe for myself, it's just an example, maybe it differ for different people.
Right. Now, in our corporate industry, right? So there is on-site opportunity, various on-site opportunities are also there. So do you think that women are not at all preferred for the on-site opportunities? Because as far as I have seen in my peers, that if I have to, let's say example, I have to send you, there was Smita to, let's say America. So the company will say, no, I cannot send a single woman there. I need another person with maybe another women for safety reasons, obviously. But did you
Right,
face any such
right.
biasness?
Fortunately, no. That I haven't faced such things, but because the companies, first of all, my last two, three companies that were all product based, and you are not allowed to go on site, so everything is off site. So other than that, my first company, I got a chance actually, but it didn't happen. But at that time, there were many people from our team who were in the on site already working over there. So, and actually, they were ready to send me alone. Now I remember. Yeah, I had only my flights were booked. They were ready to send me alone. Yeah, I don't think there were any issues basically. Yeah.
Right. So did you anything such you faced, Pooja? Anyway,
No,
you are
I
always on
also
site.
didn't face. The thing is that I didn't serve that much tenure in a one company. So if you say that, the thing is that initially I was in service based industry. So service based industry or consultancy based industry actually send their employees more into on sites more than product based, as she also mentioned, right? So initially it was like lots of colleagues who started training with me. They went to on site, depend upon their projects. And also it's depend upon, like if you serve almost 5 to 6 years, maybe at TA level or something, they used to send those people. But I remember in my training time there was a stream, iOS stream, that was very new that time, back on 2016. So there was, I think, 19 to 20 people enrolled into that, and they were not happy because they want the location as Pune or Bangalore, and all of those 20 employees just enrolled to Bhubaneswar. But after 2 months they got the opportunity to go to US because of that project, iOS project, because of some support role in Apple or something like that. So it depends. I didn't face such kind of scenarios. And after that, wherever I served almost 1.5 years or 2 years maximum. So I didn't get the opportunity, or maybe I didn't apply for also IGP. So there is a thing called IGP, internal role transfer. So most of the companies now have this thing in their workday. So if you wanted to switch in a on-site project or something like that, you can apply for that. But there is also a catch. You need to inform your manager before that you need to apply for that. So eventually the manager will not accept that you are working for their projects. But yeah, you can just try, and you can just tell them a commitment that after this much time I wanted to go for this. So then there will be some agreement and you can go for that. So I didn't face such kind of discrimination in the
Right.
on-site opportunity sector now.
Right. So as
I
you
want
mentioned,
to
the
add a
internal
point.
transfer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes, please,
Manush.
please.
So when you said about it, like they don't allow the women, maybe it happens in small scale companies as compared to the large scale organizations, I would say, because I haven't seen such scenarios in any of the large scale organizations. So I don't know about the others,
Right.
maybe.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
No, I was saying like that internal role transfer that you mentioned. For this, NOC is the main thing. You have to get NOC from your
Correct.
current manager, which is
So
important, kind
yeah.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
if there
something.
is some sort of clause, right, after 1.8 year or 2 year, or maybe 6 months, 7 months, whatever the tenure, you can apply for IGP. If you go through the interview, you got selected, that then you can go do this transfer and those things. But most of the companies nowadays is kind of like you need to inform your manager or those NOC kind of stuff. But in my previous company, there was not such things like you need to inform your managers, but they need to cut down the workforce in my previous company. So that's why, but otherwise my manager already told, like after some time, if you want to go to like the country where the company based, you can go there. So that was the situation. So it's depend.
Okay. Now coming to a little bit more serious aspects, right? So normally, if you are a women in the IT industry or any industry for that matter, so there are certain leaves like maternity leaves, and in some organization they provide menstrual leaves as well. Uh, so it's a big debate whether leaves of such kind should be provided or not. And do you think that because of those things, there is a biasness towards women in recruiting? If you see startups, normally they don't prefer women unless and until the founder is a woman, because startups has a strict timeline and they have to follow that. If we recruit a woman and she gets pregnant and she goes on maternity leave, in those cases, the salary has to be given continuously, but the work won't be getting in return. So do you feel that it's a big challenge for yourself being a woman in the IT industry?
Yes. Okay. I'll start with the menstrual leave first. Okay. Like there are a lot of questions on this topic. So, as you know, like menstruation is a biological process, like experienced by almost all women, and it is often associated with like profound pain, nausea, vomiting, and exhaustion. All right. So, for long, the process has never been given the regard it deserves. Like, and no consideration were there for the same in workplace, which has impacted the overall well-being of the human being. So So the menstrual leave policy, what it does, like it introduces the paid leave in addition to the sick leaves for women. Okay, so now there are questions on it. Like people questions are like if the policy, if implemented, will it devalue women by providing an evidence that okay, so they are unfit for the employment, or it is just a recognition towards their basic need. So there is a question on it. Like so it was first introduced by Soviet in 1920s. So it took century for a few organizations to implement this. And fortunately, I was part of one of those organizations. And which had this leave policy in place so in a study conducted, like there were around 32,000 women, and over 80% of all women, they reported the syndrome of presentism so during their periods. So what presentism is basically, so it is a phenomena like where showing up in workplace takes top priority over taking care of yourself when you have health issues. So menstrual leave policies develop more inclusive and open-minded environment for the workplace. Like it reduces your status of menstruation from the taboo. Now, see, we are discussing about it. So to
Right.
a normal biological cycle. So, but let me tell you its negative impact now. So, for most women, those 3 to 4 days, they have to deal with such pain, exhaustion, etc. Right? So, but it is not same for all. Some might not experience any discomfort. Some is okay to come to office and work in regular hours. So, the women who is not taking the menstrual leave might be considered more dedicated, reliable, and than those taking such leaves. Okay, so it might increase the gender discrimination also, right? Right. So as men or the transgender community or the non-binary community would not be offered the same kind of leaves. So it is a very tricky one to be implemented actually for all the organization. And as a result, I believe the companies do not have such strong policies on it. Okay,
Right.
and for the
Maternity
menstrual
aspects.
leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maternity leaves, so let me come to that. Okay, so if I say like I have a different perspective on it, okay. So like higher maternity leaves raises the cost of female workers to the employer, right? You have also mentioned that. So discouraging those female employment in the small startups. So on the other hand, if you see higher maternity leave encourages more females to enter the labor market. Okay, and implying that the greater female employment. All right. So so the results have shown that we have a significant relationship between those maternity leaves and the female employment. So if you see the labor participation rate, so 2 in 3 Indian men are either currently working or looking for a job. So and worldwide, if you see 1 in 2 women, all right, so they are same. They are either looking for a job or in job. Whereas when you compare Indian women, 1 in 10 women is in the job in this looking for work or currently working. So there is a huge gap, right? So why in India this is a huge gap? So should I blame the this 26 weeks leave policy? I'm not sure though. Okay, so but I mean the Indian I feel the Indian maternity law is yet to be matured. Maybe it's been increased to 26 weeks, right? Few years back.
Right.
So, like India is one of the few countries where entire financial burden of the leave is paid by the employer, and it is not same in all the countries. So if you see USA, it doesn't have paid maternity leaves, right? And so and the thing is men have no mandatory parental leave by law in India for the private organizations, right? And I do have in my organization though. So clearly signaling that it is the women's job to take care of the baby. Okay, so 43% of women who avail maternity leave quit working and become housewife. That is the sad part. So less than 1 in 5 women who take the maternity leave return to work for the same company. So it's less than one, okay, less than 1 in 5. So it's a very sad number, I would say. And even among those who return, so around 82% of them leave the company within 1 year of joining back. Now think so if you calculate, it comes around maybe 5%, making it beyond 1 year mark for the organization. Now think about the employer, okay? So the employer is paying for the entire duration, and and after that he is not getting the work, the productivity from the employee, right?
Right.
And then so the small scale companies prefer hiring men over women to avoid this cost. So I feel that some change in this policy, men and women must share the care, have the shared caregiver face facility, okay? Iceland have those 3 months leave for each parent, one for
Hmm.
3 months for the male, 3 months for the female. like I mean, and also there are some discrimination. Like why I am saying this, say several women over the years have reported of being demoted or being terminated for random reasons after pregnancy. So there should be a mandatory period of protection as well for the women. So the intent of the Indian policy is great, but when it comes to the practical implementation, I think it should need much more clarity or maturity in that case. So that
Right.
is what I think I feel. Yeah.
No, actually, that's a great aspect that you have taken, where equal caregiver leaves should be implemented.
Yes.
Where uh,
So even the
now,
parent,
yeah,
the father wants to be with the newborn child, right? And this gives the woman also the time to work on her or work on her responsibilities career wise.
right.
Yeah.
So, Pooja, now coming to you. So, do you feel, or maybe you have seen among your colleagues and friends who had taken this maternity
Yeah.
leave, and once they joined back in the organization, they were ignored and their promotions were put on hold, and officially saying that career went 2 years behind from where it were there before they have taken the leave. So, any such situation you have seen or around you, or in your peers or colleagues?
So unfortunately, in all of my project, like in my current, like last 1 year, I met a colleague who was pregnant, and after that, she joined the workforce again. But before that, whoever I worked with, mostly they are freshers, or maybe they are not willing to get married or something like that. But yes, I agree what she mentioned, and in small cap companies also that actually happened. I listen from other colleagues that they are not giving preference, this and that things, but it also depend upon company. Like in my recent like new company, there is a policy, and they also increased the paternity leave. They previously it was 4 weeks. I think they have increased it 18 weeks or something like that, which is good. But still, there should be like every company should consider that for maternity and paternity both, because it align with your mental health. You need to take care of a baby, right? And second thing is that as I mentioned, there was a colleague who just joined after the pregnancy, and she actually left the job by saying that she might join after some time, and once her child grew, then she joined. And that time the organization offered her, like she was in technical domain, she was a developer before, but that time by default like the HR, maybe the whatever the team was there, they offered her a scrum lead position. So it, as you can say, it also unconscious bias that if you are coming from a maternity leave, your workforce should be reduced. But sometimes it's kind of like the women's are also need to work, they also need to be career focused sometimes, and there is pros and cons both, right? So one thing is that the HR policy should be implemented for those, or maybe changed according to the health or prescriptions or those things. They need to be scrutinized, right? And second thing is, like as she mentioned before, like my earlier companies also, they don't have paternity leave. I saw most of my colleagues, they are so tired because they are going to home, they need to pay the home loan, then again they are going through newborn delivery and those kind of things. So those things need to be changed. And there is also one fear sometimes nowadays I saw, or maybe I discuss with so many of my colleagues who are working in this IT industry. So mostly people are like career focused, as you can say nowadays. But women's are like late their 30s, they want to get child, but they have also this fear. If I wanted to get a child, or maybe I need to be pregnant or something like that, then I need to talk with my manager and how he will react or how she will react. So there is always not a comfortability in that person's mind, because when you join, there should, I feel there should be some sort of induction for this kind of situation, so that HR give you a proper description, and once you join the company, you should feel comfortable for that upcoming period. If you wanted to
Right.
get pregnant or not, that doesn't matter, but there should be some sort of induction for this. You can comfortably talk to your manager, talk to your HR, and from the day itself, because obviously without any medical documentation, no one can avail those leaves, like because that is a 3 month or 6 month leave, whatever that is. So I feel in every company till now, wherever I joined, in induction period, it's just a small just notification that you have this much leave, this is the company policy, this is for maternity, this is for paternity, that's all. But I think, but nowadays I can see there are lots of discussion regarding pride or other things, which is good. But regarding this maternity also, there should be a dedicated session before starting your work in the company, like in the induction period, so that person should be comfortable. And again, I feel like menstruation leave also be needed, though we can avail sick leave, and but sometimes we feel exhausted, sometimes like it kind of can be an emergency situation, right? For an example, you have 8 sick leaves, or 20 PL, something like that. You have family responsibilities also. You are staying with a joint family, right? You already exhausted all of those leaves, and suddenly you fall sick because of your period, right? So that time it feels very uncomfortable to talk to your manager or something. But if there is some sort of policy that clearly defines the management or the HR, that for the women, then there should be at least 1 day or 2 days sufficient, at least. But yeah, there will be like bad aspects of this also. Some women, or maybe like someone don't need those leaves, then there will be a taboo that they are working more uh, from the other person. But that is also depend upon individual personal strength, what our health capability and those things. But yes, that I can say.
And just adding to that, no, this the menstrual period is not actually sickness. It's a normal part of the
Correct.
body, like how we, yes.
Yeah.
So it should not be
Yeah.
considered as a sick leave,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
if you, yes. So as I was saying, no, in our country also, our minister, Mrs. Smriti Irani, she said in Parliament that menstrual leave is not at all required. I'm a woman. See, I'm working today. So at the top level also, the discussion is not reaching up to that level where it should have been. So there is a need for discussion, as you both of you rightly mentioned, which maybe from our podcast or someone, some people will get to know about it, and slowly, gradually, it may grow. But there is a need for it. Now coming to another aspect in the organization itself, it's called POSH, Protection of Sexual Harassments, right? So in every organization, as per Indian Penal Code, it should be there mandatorily. Every organization. Uh, so how far do you think that education level in every organization during induction or various sessions are conducted to make people aware about this existence of this particular protocol in the organization? Or did you face anything? Because definitely, when you're a fresher, you get hit by men around you, and the vice versa. So how much do you think that this is relevant in the IT industry, and how much awareness is given properly?
Yeah, sure. So regarding this posh, like before, 7 to 8 years back, I also not aware of this term posh, right? But nowadays, I can't say like it's depend upon the company, but I saw like wherever I joined, whether it's a service based or product based, everyone have this posh session, which is a mandatory. Also, if they are not going to say you those things in details in induction, there will be a compliance training for that. You need to go with that. But I think it's more on the comfortability of a person. If some so sexual harassment doesn't mean if some person just come to you and just sexually harassed you. It also can be like verbally, or maybe some sort of another discussion, or maybe body shaming or bullying. Any kind of scenarios can be happen. But sometimes as a individual, we are we are not like every time we are in a mind that why to take that forward, and why to quarrel with that person, why to argue with that person. So we are in a mind. Or sometimes also people I saw that they are very scared of talking that thing to other colleagues, right? They are like, okay, ye ho gaya to ho gaya, like that. There is a dialogue kind of like that. So I think that things need to be changed. You need to change your mindset. Like according to me, it's more on individual, not on the company side. If there is law and if there is mandate things in the corporate side, they need to implement those things. And nowadays, every induction, if you join a new company, they will tell you there is posh, or maybe there is this contact person, and that person is there. But no one is going to there is also some law compliance with that. So everyone is afraid of, if I go through this, there will be law, then why to go to this court and these things, right? So yeah, we need to change the mindset. If you feel something uncomfortable, you need to discuss at least with your colleagues, or maybe with your senior manager or your HR. So there should be absolutely freedom. So you need to change your thinking. So that's what I can say.
How about you, Smita? What's your take on this entire posh scenario in the organizations?
Okay. Yeah, so I'll tell you one story, okay, a very short one, which I have seen in my earlier organization. Okay, so it's not with me, but it happened with some other person, so I'm going to say. So there was a team, okay, and there was a female colleague and male colleague. So generally, when we see someone, we say, "Hey, you are looking beautiful today. Hey, looking good. Your dress is nice," etc. and etc. So that male colleague casually used to compliment that girl every day. You were looking beautiful today, and she took it very casually. One day she needs to wear nail polish, okay, so that male colleague came to her and said like, oh, today you are not wearing nail paint. Then what she said, and it was casual conversation, okay, the girl went to the posh committee for the complaint. So what do you think? So was it right or wrong? I just wanted to ask you, both of you. Like, it is a
Yeah.
very shocking incident. So what do you feel like? Was it necessary to for her to go to posh and complain about him? So
No,
at
no,
the
it's
first,
actually it has two aspects. See, first aspect uh, is it's a demerit for the male counterpart, because he was not having that much intention maybe, and just casually said, oh, you're not wearing the nail paint today. Same thing can happen with us also. Let's say I'm every day I wear blue colored shirt. One day I'm not
mhm.
wearing. If you see me in the office and say, oh, today you're not wearing blue color shirt, you may say, I'll not go to the posh and complain about it. So that's
Okay.
another
So
aspect.
yeah, so I'll come to this point now. So what happened, and it was taken very seriously by the Posh. The reason was nail paint is a very intricate detail, okay? That person used to stare at her in such a way every day, so he got to know when and which day she is wearing nail paint or not. So that was the point, okay? And that situation went to Posh, and there were many other trials happened. So these such things, so sensitive things that you have from like you would have said, why she did all this, why she created a ruckus out of this. Now see the condition. It's such a
Now
sensitive
I
issue.
need posh session. I got it. These are in the minute. I didn't consider the minute details. I was telling about shirt.
Yeah.
If I had said about earrings, In that case,
Right,
minute
right.
details. Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's truly yes. Right. So
But
now,
some person also like, just one thing like about this posh, right? Nowadays there are so many law compliance with this, but previously there was not. So people are also going at that time, like before 3 to 4 years ago, someone also like could take the disadvantage of that, like he was doing that way. So it is like both of the side, like you need to talk to both of the side what is happening, and you get to know. So, just an example, if I can give, like I told before, in my initial days, so there was a person who was like more like biased towards men, not towards women, right? And that time also, he was like staring at all those women like different way, but we can't judge like is this natural or not natural, okay? But the thing is that every time every time he talking in a way very arrogant manner, every time like you can't do this thing, you are from civil background, right? Or why you are doing, why you came to this project. So it is kind of in constant bullying you feel. So in that kind of scenario I complained like initially, right? And after that I changed my company. But that time I was not aware of what was posh, what was those societies and these things. But nowadays if I see lots of change happen, it's not just you can just complain, but there should be uh, thorough checks. There are actually two organizing committees who will check the men's side also as well as the women's side, and that also not only men or women. If you, there are also separate genders or pride community also, if you can talk with something, they can also go to posh. So I can say now it's more straightforward, but previously it was not. And that time like the hike was they deducted my hike because I talked so much about my project, like why you. And even I just went to the HR room and I just directly told, he just pushed this person who just joined 3 4 like month before in different project, why you like what are the capabilities missing in me. That is fine, I can accept all the fact, but you need to give me proper reason. So there is no reason. So in that scenario what will what will you expect, like how you will react if they are not giving to you a proper reason. So that is my question to you.
yeah. So yeah, I'll go and speak with my manager. If my manager is not giving me enough explanation, then next hierarchy wise, I'll go above him,
Correct.
who is reporting, and so on. If they are also not responding, HR, and if not, then I have to do police complaint. No other option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, with that same point, right now, we discussed about maternity leaves, we discussed about menstrual cycle leaves, and we also discussed about POSH, right? So now, having said all this, being a woman, you'll understand. I mean, as someone, let's say in future, you are going to have kids or something like, right? So when it comes to work-life balance, right? So we have to manage family. I mean, not we. I'm including all men. Lives matter. then then I'm including all of us. So here we have to maintain family, then we have to maintain friends,
Correct.
we have to maintain our personal home as well. Now, keeping all with all this in India, the culture is like that you have to work beyond your work timing, also beyond 6 p.m., 7 p.m., sometime 8 p.m. So how do you see the work-life balance with that respect? So after maternity leave, if a candidate is joining, if the employee is joining back, and the work culture is still that you have to work till 10 p.m. night, so how much they can allocate their time to the family for work-life balance? So do you think that this is relevant? And then I'll tell you a story that, after you answer. Yeah, Devasmita.
Okay, so if you say about this, like a person who has joined the organization after a career break, so for that person, going home would be the first priority. Complete your work and go home to see your baby. Now, some of the companies and some of the employees are so inconsiderate. What they comment is like, "Oh, she had those leaves, 9 months leave, and now she has come to office. See, she is not extending her hours as well." So this is so wrong, and I have seen people doing that again and again. अब वो करती क्या है, चली जाती है घर, अब बच्चों को लेके रहती है. So this is a common mindset, and even not only male. And the sad part is the female colleagues also comment on it. So the thing is, if you say about the work-life balance, someday, few years from the line, we also might be in this same condition. All right. So I feel like setting the boundaries, both be it in the personal and the professional life, is very much important. Okay, so maybe today or maybe after you get your kid or you get married, whatsoever, your responsibilities changes, but the few things like setting your boundary, managing your time, it remains the same. Okay, so be a woman or man, like it being a woman, it becomes bit more tricky because your guilty conscience work all the time. Oh, I'm a mother. I'm working at office. I can't see my baby. So let's stop working and look after the baby. Or what happens in and when she comes to office, your manager says, okay, have not worked for so long. Now you have to deliver a project, or your promotion or your new role would be stuck somewhere. So what she does when she is in office, she is into work and she is prolonging her hours. So and then she gets late while going to home. So like over time, what I have learned is to make myself a priority. Okay, so things might change and I have to adjust accordingly because when you are working for an organization, so your commitment matters, right? So when you aspire to grow, you have to set certain boundaries during your work schedule. And when I have completed my work hours, I would make sure that I make myself fully available to my family or my hobbies or whatsoever. Right. So yes, like there are times when work will take the priority, and other times when your personal commitments take the priority. So once in a while it is fine, but I would prefer to keep time for myself because I feel that the time management is the key. So once you get hold of it, so everything just will fall in place maybe over the time. So that's
Right.
the thing.
So, and I'll tell you a story before I come to you, Pooja. The story is
Yeah.
I'll not name the organization. In one of the organization, I read this in LinkedIn. So there, this one employee joined after maternity leave. They were given that option. I mean, talking about it's a happy thing. Is they were given an option. You have to take care of your kid, your daughter or son. Now there is an option with you. If you want to take 5 hours in a day work or 6 hours, you can decide how much work hours you want to work, and based on that, your salary also will be deducted. If you, let's say, in a week you are supposed to work 45 days 45 hours, instead of that, let's say you are working 25 hours, so you'll be your economical calculation will happen based on the hours that you put in. So there is one thing which is there in one of the organization that I saw in LinkedIn. One participant
Oh,
mentioned her entire ordeal, and she was happy, and I was like, why you are demoted from your current position, why are you happy? So that's
true.
another aspect. Yeah, continue,
Yeah,
continue.
instead of
Pooja.
supporting her, they are gaining out of her. That is the thing.
Right. Yeah. Over to you, Pooja.
So there is couple of things in this scenario. Like previously, when I started my career, I was very much happy to extend my time because that time I was fresher and I wanted to like grow in my career. Also, I wanted to learn things. And I know if you are joining the corporate industry, you need to extend your hours sometimes, depend upon the project, because most of the projects are UK based or US based. So people are sitting there. You need to extend your time, but if you are an Indian project, then it's different, like 9 to 5. And previously I was in a support role, like start 3 to 4 hours, 4 years. And support role means you need to do rotational shift also. But like that time, sometimes it's kind of like I also getting exhausted, but and sometimes also I feel depressed. To away from that depression, I frequently travel, like without any and that also happened like 1 year. I almost every month I travel rigorously in any places. It's just like to reduce the depression of my mind. But now I am in a position that I know the company terms and law in each companies. So there are two things. So first thing, if you wanted to join a company, there is the salary pay as per the labor law, like there is 9 hours or 10-hour policy, or there is per hourly basis. So if you wanted to, if you want to do some sort of remote job for your comfortability, so there is hourly basis. So once you sign those contract, right, after that you can say, or maybe there is a contract, they can revoke your offer or something like that. But if there is a 9 hour or 10 hour policy, or 8 hour or 9 hour policy, so you can complete your task anytime. So after maternity leave also, I saw this kind of bias, right? And that is also not fault of them. The society actually grew every person in a way from our childhood, that if you nowadays, if you see your mother or your sisters who are in elder age, like if I talk about my mother, she was working, and she was working from 1990, and that time also it was expected, even from her home, from her mother-in-law, that you need to take the responsibility from your home, and also you need to like if you are doing job, you need to wake up at that time at 5 o'clock in the morning. After that you need to cook everything, and after that you need to go office, and then evening also you need to do those kind of stuff. And the men also used to think like in that manner. If I talk to my father nowadays, sometimes I asked him, like, why you are not going to help him, though we can't change, it is not his fault, it's like from childhood that actually intricate in our mind. So if I talk to my father, like, why you can't help or you can't cook, so he was just like, my mother actually didn't allow him to come to kitchen. So that is the thing, right? And in corporate world also, it is expected, like if there is a discussion in a larger group, some person, for an example, some married guys just eating beside us, they are like, mere beevi to ye bana rahe hai, raat ko ye banayenge." She, and sometimes we ask whether she is a housewife or working. No, she is working, and it is normal for her, like after coming from office to home, she need to cook. Then we ask, like, why you can't cook, or why you can also help in that, right? And for that matter, I say, like, since we are from Northeast India, I feel little bit privilege, but not everywhere in Northeast or Bengal people are like open minded. Just a majority where
Right.
from where I came, maybe we at that time we had little money, or maybe my parents had little money, but they grew a single child. And I feel even my friends group and my colleagues also, whoever from Northeast, like they push girl child more towards like education also. Before marriage, my parents told me that whatever happened, you never leave your job. So that is the first priority for you. You need to income for, like, you need to grow, and you need to do the career things for yourself. Don't depend upon others. But when I see other colleagues who came from outside, maybe there are some portion, though those are open minded, but it's in India still 80% of the people, I feel, they are orthodox. So the thing is that they actually assume women in a way that after marriage also, like they can't do the work and marriage both way, they can't do both of the responsibilities. But if she choose those things together, then she need to maintain like this time to that time. And sometimes nowadays I feel, if you are feeling like this maternity things or pregnancy things, like it's not in our hand. Maybe after 2 years, like I can plan, or maybe now also I can get pregnant. But I need to talk to my HR and manager, that like my workforce should be reduced to 10 to 20%. If not workforce, maybe my timing, because this and that reasons are there. I need to take care of my newborn baby. So nowadays I see lots of product based companies. I don't know about service based nowadays, but I saw there are policies, like if you are a working mother, and if you have a little child, like who is like in between 5 years of age, you can reduce the workforce 10 to 20, 10 to 20%, something like that. So you can check all the policies in your company side. If there is also not such kind of policies, you can talk to your manager. If if you are like if you are willing, like if you are feeling that you can't, you have to take care of child, or you need to do this kind of thing, so you need to talk. So that is the thing, saying no is the important thing, and also taking the responsibility in both way.
Thank you for watching this episode till the end. If you have watched up to this, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and share it with your friends. Share it on WhatsApp, in any WhatsApp group where you think that this may benefit your friends or your colleagues or your juniors or your brothers, sisters. Thank you. Keep watching.